What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave, and it's time for your daily focus. It's Tuesday, which normally would be wrestling, wrestler spotlight, but I'm not feeling very good. If you watched the Joe Cronin show last night on Spectrum Gaming 617, right after Raw, we tore it down last night, guys. We really threw it down. Myself, Joe Cronin, Jesse J, Dave Rose joined us, a host of callers. It was quite fantastic, and it had a lot to do with a really great Raw. The downside of everything is I still have not been to sleep. I'm exhausted. I am absolutely exhausted, and I plan on doing a wrestling a spotlight on a wrestler. I don't know if I'm going to do it today. I might just put one together that's really good for next week, so that might start next Tuesday. But I wanted to at least do a Raw review for this channel. And normally I would do it with Ed Crowley or, Jeff Huffman or somebody else. But honestly, I'm tired. I don't really want to talk to anybody. I just want to knock this out and talk to you guys for a little bit and then go to sleep. That's basically my plan right now. And, Raw was very good last night. It was solid. Look, it wasn't spectacular. There wasn't fireworks and magic and fucking mist and stuff. But you know what? For what we've gotten from the last 6 weeks of wrestling, especially on Raw, with the Authority being gone, we got some really good stuff last night. We got solid work from top to bottom. And it seems like from wrestling forums and such, about 80%, especially on Twitter, 80% of the people seem to be really happy with the show. I think it was one of the better Raws of the year. I think it was very solid. But then there's this 20% of people that I don't even understand why the fuck they're watching wrestling. If you cannot get into what happened last night on Raw, either you're not being honest because you're not watching the entire goddamn show, which is a problem, or you're just too fucking jaded at this point in your life to truly enjoy wrestling. Face it. Let's get a couple fucking things straight, folks. The Attitude Era is never coming back, okay? People are not going to be doing... We're not going to have blood. We're not going to have fucking tits and ass everywhere. We're not going to have complete insanity every single fucking segment. We're not going to have super, always true-to-life fucking storylines that mirror reality. It's not always going to happen. We're going to get some offshoot of this good versus bad, but stunningly on this show, quite realistic storylines that blur the lines at times. It seems like they were going on edge, pun intended, at points during the show, and I'm going to get to it. But some of the things that people are complaining about just make no sense to me. And before I go any further, you have every right to complain or not be happy with certain things about shows. That's your complete right. I'm not trying to tell you differently. I'm not trying to get you to change your mind, and I'm certainly not trying to tell you that you're wrong, okay? What I'm simply trying to do is maybe you need to reevaluate where you are as a fan in wrestling if you can't find anything to fucking be happy about anymore. Because let me tell you, this is for the era that we're in and the timeline that we're in right now, this was a pretty goddamn good Raw. Yeah, and it's considering where we are, it's the last show of the year. We got Royal Rumble coming up in 4 weeks. WrestleMania is right around the corner. If you can't see something building with all the names that are... Yes, we may not have a Rock or an Austin, even though they might show up in some capacity. Why do you want them anyway? Why are we always fucking clamoring for things that aren't going to happen? Why do we want 45, 50-year-olds? Oh, we're not going to have Punk. We didn't have Punk last year, and it was a great WrestleMania. Who the fuck cares? Let's stop lamenting about the things we're not going to have and start being really happy about some of the things that are building, because there's a lot of good stuff building. So let's go ahead and let's start. I'm going to go through my copious amounts of notes, which I did get through most of them on the Cronin show last night, but I'm going to try to mix it up a little bit so I'm not reading the exact same stuff. But Edge and Christian kicked off the show. I thought they were really solid. I'm not a huge fan of Christian, as I've said in the past, but he was pretty good, I think, top to bottom last night. He seems to only be good around Edge, but he had some funny lines. And with a year left on his contract and he is officially retired now, I think it's time to try to do something with him. Assistant manager position, or GM position, maybe a managerial role. Get him on commentary. Put him down. I mean, put him on a fucking main event or something. Let him commentate. The guy can talk fairly well. So, let's try to get something out of the guy. You're paying him, right? Fuck. So, Brock Lesnar comes out really early in the night, which was kind of cool. And he remembered the belt this time, so that was good. Paul Heyman cuts a great fucking promo to kick off the show yet again. It's what he does. Cena ends up coming out. They get a little stare down. Cena suckers in Brock Lesnar and almost hits the AA. They're really teasing that Cena can win this belt at Royal Rumble. And I'm not sure it's not going to happen. I just don't see Cena walking away from the Rumble with the belt, one way or the other. I just don't see it happening. I see Rollins cashing in or something because Cena's not walking away with that title. I just don't think so. We'll see. Dolph Ziggler and Rusev had a really, really good match. Champion versus champion. It was quite exciting. There was a lot going on during the match. These guys can work together. And I've been kind of down on Rusev because I feel his moveset is very lacking. And I'm not sure how much I'm up on him because of this match, because basically I could work a good match with Dolph Ziggler. But it was a good fight. And the disqualification, a lot of people are really bitching about, and I don't get the amount of anger over it. Look, you're not going to have Rusev lose to Ziggler and get his first loss by pinfall or submission on a random Raw. That's not going to happen. Not when you're still building him for that loss to mean something somewhere down the line. And if Dolph Ziggler would have lost to Rusev, it would have had to been in a pretty devastating manner, and everybody would be on here complaining about how Dolph is being buried. They're buried. His push is over. They're burying him again, which is not necessarily the case either. So they gave him a good disqualification victory, and there was nothing wrong with it. It sucks that there wasn't a more definitive finish, sure. But look, I think I and most people can understand why they did it and why it makes sense. So, like I said, let's try not to whine so much, you fucking crybabies. My God. Okay. Something that I noticed and I was really happy about, they are not pushing the network like they were. It was really annoying. The $9.99 thing and all of that was really annoying. It seemed last night, the one time they really did try to shill the network, they simply tried to talk about the main selling point of the network and why it makes sense at $9.99 over paying $60 for a pay-per-view and all the content. And they have more content to push than ever before, which is nice. I think they're doing a good job. They're not forcing it down your throat. Michael Cole isn't screaming at you to download something. So that was nice. I felt the commentary overall was better than usual. It's still terrible, but I mean, it was better than normal. And I think that's kind of the theme of the night for the entire Raw. Everything was better than normal. So that was just a little side note I had there. Ryback comes out, and I was blown away, man. I mean, Ryback gets in the ring, and he just starts talking. And something felt a little different about the entire thing. He was very real and honest. And the guy just spoke, man. He just talked. And he did something that we normally don't see in the WWE. They do this very rarely. They focused on past gimmicks of Ryback. I mean, Jesus, this does not happen. They called him by his real name, for Christ's sake, at one point. It doesn't happen. And showing his knee, and the crowd seemed to really respond to it. I think this is a really good thing for Ryback. And after the interview with Jericho, which most everybody who watched it is very happy with the way Ryback came off. I sneezed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a good sneeze. That woke me up. I think they're playing off that a little bit more and allowing him to show a little bit more of a personal side. look, these type of promos, which we had 3 of them, by the way, last night that were kind of similar, what they do is they allow for a deeper connection with the wrestler that we normally don't get to the audience. It was very nice to see, and it's something that I'd like to see more of, and I think a lot of people would like to see more of. It was a lot of fun to watch. So that was a really cool aspect, and I think it worked. He got a really good pop. Some people are saying that the crowd was dead last night. I didn't really see that. I thought there were in a couple spots that maybe the crowd was a little bit quieter than in other points of the show, but overall, I thought the crowd was really into the show. I thought it was pretty apparent that they were enjoying themselves. There wasn't a lot of down points, and they were really into this promo, and they were into Ryback overall. And maybe they're just into his chant. Who the fuck knows? Natalya and Nikki Bella, maybe the weakest point of the entire show, but even with that, I'm enjoying everything that's going on with Tyson Kidd and Natalya and all that. I don't mind it. Nikki, I love that fucking rack attack that she does. I just like looking at Nikki move around, to be completely honest. I just enjoy watching her move. Ooh. Yeah. And Natalya, it wasn't a very big match. It wasn't a long match. It was just kind of a quick little thing. They had Tyson Kidd catch Nikki. So I think there's going to be something happening where maybe they're going to pair those two. Who knows? Having Natalya, at least Natalya is building towards a title match again, and maybe until Paige gets back into the title picture and stuff, it's something. It's not great, but we've definitely seen worse out of the Divas division. But that was the one lull, maybe if you want to call it a lull. It was so short, it wasn't even a lull of the night. So, next, something strange happened. Naomi goes to The Miz and gives him a hug. When that happened, I started to feel like something was up because that was so odd, and The Miz looked genuinely shocked when she said that, oh, your producer got in touch with me and all of this. He looked like, bitch, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you crazy? But I'm going to get some brown sugar. Yeah, yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm going to get some of that brown sugar, baby. You and Maurice. Maurice, damn me. Put your hands together. Anyway, tag team titles were up next. I thought the match was solid, man. I mean, I'd like to complain about certain aspects with the Usos because the Usos are constantly back in the title picture, but the match was good. The Usos looked really aggressive. That was the one thing I noticed. Their facial expressions, their mannerisms, it looks like they've been working at that to elicit more emotional response when they're in the ring. I thought the psychology was very good by both sides. The Miz not allowing Mizdow in the match. Even when he was getting beat down, the Miz continued to stay in, and he's working some great stuff. We saw some things we normally don't see. We saw a tequila sunrise in this match by one of the Usos onto the Miz. A fucking tequila sunrise. We never see that. That was a great thing. And the match just kept building and building, and then boom. The Usos win in a really nice spot at the ending. They get the titles back. A title change on Raw is a rare thing. It doesn't happen often. And it seemed to be saved for special occasions, and I think this qualifies. Look, for those of you who are saying The Miz and Mizdow needed a longer title reign, why? If anything, this should be the beginning of the end for Miz and Mizdow to start going their separate ways. Look, the reality is they had a weird, a stupid rehashed idea for The Miz to be a movie star because he was coming off the movie that he filmed. They didn't have anything else for him. Damian Sandow had nothing going on, and they needed to put him in an angle, so they put them both into a stupid, ridiculous thing they didn't think would work. Well, guess what? The Miz and Damian Sandow made something happen, and now Sandow's over. So now is the time to go ahead and split them up and let Mizdow, or Damian Sandow once again, go forward. Because it's time. It's time. They dropped the belt, and then later on, they would have a second match because they wanted their title rematch that night against the debuting Ascension. The crowd didn't really seem to know what to do with the Ascension. I'm not sure how wrestling savvy the overall crowd was. I mean, some people seem to know who they were. I liked that they basically kept the intro the same as they had down in NXT. They kept the gimmick the same. Really, it is the same Ascension that we saw down in NXT, except they have a little bit of paint and some symbols all over their face and stuff. And some people are freaking out about that too. Come on, get over your fucking selves. They're called the Ascension. It's their gimmick. Jesus Christ. God, it's all about Ascension, and they have all the symbology all over. They're not fucking trying to. They're not a foothold for any secret societies or anything like that. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick, and it's a good gimmick that if they refine and they do this properly, could work well. I like the fact that the Ascension comes in and immediately gets a big win over the suddenly former tag team champions, because it gives them a little bit of legitimacy. And they destroyed Sandow because The Miz did the opposite of what he did in the first match. He wrestled the entire first match, but none of the second. And I thought that was a cool little nuance. I enjoyed all that. And look, the Ascension are big guys. They may not be in the greatest shape in the world, but that's fine. They don't need to be. They're just there to wreck people. And they accomplished that. So if they continue to do that, maybe have a few more matches where they kind of beat up the tag teams that are still around and thrust them into a title picture with the Usos. I think there's enough legitimacy with the Ascension. They'll continue to show packages. Hopefully they'll show things from NXT to kind of get people a little more comfortable with them. And I think that'll happen over time. So after that, I just remember taking a note here. I see this was a really great first hour and a half of Raw. I mean, first half of Raw was just great. It was really good. Title change, promos, it was just solid. There was nothing wrong with it. And then Cesaro comes out, and it just looked like he was going to shoot. He's like, I got to get some things off my chest. And it turned out to be, at best, a half shoot. I mean, obviously he didn't say everything that he would like to say, but I think WWE showing that they're cognizant of how people view Cesaro's run and how Cesaro is probably very disgruntled in the back. They played that. They let him vent a little bit and then kind of turn it on the fans. I thought that was kind of neat. I didn't have a problem with it. It was maybe a little trolly, but it was pretty cool. Just seeing Cesaro do something of note is kind of neat. And then, it's a vehicle for bringing back Bad News Barrett, who, I got to say, physically did not look well in the match. He looked really, really skinny and borderline anorexic for his size. But he moved well. He was still knocking the rust off. He had a very physical match with Cesaro. I think there's something there, and hopefully we'll get more of those two going forward. We got to see a little bit of the Cesaro swing, which we do not see a lot of anymore. So, I mean, these are some positive signs for both wrestlers. And then we get an ugly but very, very effective finish. The Bull Hammer after a rake to the eyes. I kind of enjoyed that. That was kind of cool. And it is what it is. Barrett's back. I think that we'll let him get his feet wet a little bit, and we'll see what happens from there. Harper does a backstage promo after that that completely freaks me the fuck out. God, Luke Harper's freaky as hell. I like this guy. I love everything about him. And they go ahead and they put him in a singles match with Swagger to kind of build back up his credibility after having his little title dust up and, short reign with the belt. So that was cool. And we'll see more out of Harper. It was a pretty good match. I think I was expecting a little bit more. It was very physical, but it was a little slow. And then Harper hits a nasty fucking clothesline to win the match. I mean, goddamn, he hits a just disgusting clothesline. But the crowd seemed to be kind of not into this match because up until this point, the action was fairly high-paced. And this was a slower, more plodding match. Harper relies a lot on psychology, and Swagger is just Swagger, and because he doesn't really have an identity. The only thing he's got going for him is people really like to cheer We the People. That's the one thing he's got, and the fact that he's always solid in the ring. He doesn't botch. He doesn't make mistakes. He's very good in the ring. He's solid, and he makes people look better. And he made Harper look a lot stronger last night. So I think mission accomplished as far as that. That's not a bad spot for me. Was it a little slow? Sure, but the ending was nice. It was a great clothesline, so nothing to really complain about there. Then we got a backstage suck-off session between Edge and Cena where they just basically took each other's dicks in their mouths and just, which I didn't really have a problem with. It was kind of funny at times, bringing up some of the things they did to each other in the past. And, it's nice to see the respect that there is for Edge because the guy deserves it. And so it's kind of cool to see that. We need a little bit of that every now and then. But it didn't have to be with Cena because, we're just so tired of seeing good guy Cena, But overall, I was happy with it. I mean, he's Edge. I love Edge. I love hearing his theme song. Every time I get to hear, on this day, I'm happy. Makes me very happy. So that wasn't too bad. It was just a little bit of a blowjob session. Blah, blah, blah. But that's okay. Probably the surprise of the night, maybe not match of the night, but certainly one of the better points that I was not expecting. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, it proves one of two things. It either proves that Rollins could literally work with anybody because they made this work, or Reigns is improving. I'm not sure which one because we did have the Show getting involved. Big Show getting involved was... At first I was like, But something I noticed, he wasn't half bad on commentary, man. He didn't sound like the giant mongoloid he usually is. He wasn't half bad. I was shy. I wrote in my notes, I can't believe I just said that. I said, wow, Big Show's not bad on commentary. I can't believe I just said that. There's so much hatred on the Big Show where I think people get blinded. They put on their fucking blindfolds whenever the Big Show or whenever Cena or whenever there are some things that they just absolutely hate with the WWE, and they refuse to see anything positive. There's nothing wrong with seeing things positive. I call out plenty of bad things, but if I see something good, if I see a wrestler, even a wrestler that I hate as much as I can't stand the Big Show, I'm going to give him fucking credit. Okay? I enjoyed the little bit of the commentary that he was saying. It was kind of cool. Him interacting with everybody else was kind of neat. It was a pretty damn lengthy match. They worked a good match. Reigns is selling better than I remember him doing in the past. Rollins was working his ass off, but I don't think he was working his ass off to hide any of Reigns' shortcomings. I just feel that that's just the way Rollins works. And Reigns he's got enough athleticism to do things that make you go, and Reigns has something. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if it's main event potential, but maybe it's time to start backing off the hate train that's on Roman Reigns. Do I want to see him in a main event at Mania? No, not right now, at least. I can tell you that. But Reigns held his own pretty well. The match looked good. Reigns gets the upper hand. Big Show interferes and destroys him through the table, which is, he returned the favor from last week. That was kind of cool. I didn't mind it. That throw over the fucking table was neat. It created a little bit of drama for this matchup that these two are going to have eventually. Let's get it over with. Show is kind of good for things like that because regardless of anything else you want to talk about the Big Show, he is big as fuck. So when he does, his punch is stupid, but when he throws you into a barrier, it's like, oh, okay. That did not tickle, I'm fairly certain. So after that, we get another gimmick match announced for Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose. Bray Wyatt does a promo from the back of an ambulance, whatever. Okay. Obviously, they're teasing this to be the final match between the two, so maybe it will be. Maybe one of them is going to take a little bit of time off after this match. That maybe not. You don't know what they're going to do with Ambrose and Wyatt at this point. I don't even think they know what they're going to do with Wyatt and Ambrose at this point, which is kind of scary. But you got to figure one way or another, this is about to get pivoted. It's not going to end out of nothing. I have a feeling somebody's going to get involved at some point to turn this feud somewhere else. I don't see it ending unless they become friends, which I think the ship has sailed on that part. So I don't know. We'll see an ambulance match next week on Raw. Something to look forward to. And there's a lot to look forward to next week, by the way. Daniel Bryan out next. The whole damn night they were teasing, the possible retirement of Daniel Bryan. I don't think I ever really thought he was going to retire until he came out. He came out, he got very emotional. He talked about his father, which was hard to watch. He teared up. It was, had it been in Washington State instead of Washington, D.C., I think I would have bought into him possibly retiring a little bit more. But what it did, it turned into Daniel Bryan stating him going to be in the Royal Rumble. And that is awesome. Look, I got into it with Joe Cronin last night because he thinks Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan need to wrestle. I don't think so. I don't think Brock at this stage in his career needs to be wrestling Daniel Bryan. And it really has nothing to do with limitations that Brock might have. Brock, since he's come back, he's had one mode of offense, and it's basically punches and kicks and major suplexes. It scares me to think of him doing those type of things to Daniel Bryan because Brock Lesnar has not always been known as the most safe guy to work with in the business. And Daniel Bryan, coming off the injuries that he has, it just seems like an unnecessary risk. And I'm not sure how good the match would be anyway. Joe Cronin last night talked about how Brock sold his ass off. Yeah, he sold his ass off to Cena, a big guy, to Triple H, a big guy, The Undertaker, a big guy. The smallest guy he fought was CM Punk. And CM Punk isn't anywhere near as small as Daniel Bryan is. So it's going to be hard unless Brock hurts himself, like Daniel Bryan moves out of the way and lets him hurt himself, which I think would be kind of a lame for a WrestleMania match, to be completely honest. I don't see the point of having it, I think there's other things they can do. I think the way to go with Lesnar is Lesnar and Undertaker too at WrestleMania. I think that way you don't have to worry about him having another match with Cena at WrestleMania, which I don't think will happen. And we don't have to have Reigns and Lesnar. I don't think anybody wants that. So we have all of that going on. I think the best way would be to pivot him on and maybe do something else with Daniel Bryan. There's a lot up in the air right now. I think over the next 4 weeks, things are going to get a little more clear, and that's cool. But the important thing is Daniel Bryan is back. He'll be at the Royal Rumble, and that's a good thing. So let's focus on that, and we'll worry about what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan after the Rumble, okay? Because I don't know if he's going to win it. Who knows? He could. He might not. But let's worry about that later. Let's just focus on the fact he gave a really good promo last night. He got the crowd into it, and he's back, okay? Let's be happy with it. And he's coming back at the same time that the Authority's coming back. So there's conflict there. This could be really good. Maybe he'll be taking the spot of Cena taking on the Authority at this point. But I think it's going to be more of Sting. I think the Authority... I'll talk about that in a second. So we get more Edge and Christian comedy. I already talked about the Ascension. Edge and Christian make some funny cracks. Christian especially talking about how Seth Rollins is a walking pile of suck and everything. So they're standing in the ring, and Seth Rollins brings out the Big Show, and I'm like, okay, I figured this is all just a setup to get Cena, to beat up Cena, and Brock Lesnar would come out and beat up Cena, and maybe they were even going to do something with Randy Orton coming out and RKO and Seth Rollins, maybe even Seth Rollins turning on Brock Lesnar and doing a surprise cash-in. All those things went through my mind. What didn't go through my mind was the possibility of fucking Rollins going completely fucking psycho, grabbing Edge and threatening his fucking life, man. That was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was edgy. It was very cool. It was well done. Rollins looked deranged. He looked like a guy that was not going to stop until he got what he wanted. And some people are complaining, "Oh, the Authority's back." Look, dickheads. The fucking Raws we've gotten since the Authority's been gone have been fucking shit. They've been horrendous. Horrendous. The Authority needs to be on TV. There's nothing wrong with Triple H and Stephanie as long as they're doing something useful with them, which now with the build to Mania, they will be. We're going to see Sting and Triple H. It's going to be interesting. I don't think they're going to be running it's not going to be the same thing they just did. At least I hope not. I think it'll be a little more open-ended, and they're going to be a little more into things with Sting. Maybe Sting's going to be making their lives a hell of a lot more complicated. So I don't have a problem with the Authority being back. Cena, the way they did it is why I don't have a problem with it. Look, Cena just given the Authority. We knew the Authority was coming back. It was how they were going to be brought back, which was going to make this angle. And the fact that Cena, who they teased throughout the night, the respect that he had for Edge, having to do it because Edge was about to get his fucking neck broken by Seth Rollins, which I thought was amazingly well done. And then after he says yes, "I'm going to kill him anyway, John." I'm like, yeah, this is fucking great. Rollins is nuts. Give Seth Rollins a fucking gun. Fucking Rollins is crazy. I love it. I love that all three of the former Shield members are doing something important. I think it's great. The varying degrees of importance, yes. Sorry about how dark everything is. The sun has gone down here in Germany, and it's getting darker by the moment. But it was interesting. Seth Rollins I loved it. I thought it was the best promo work he's basically done in the ring. It wasn't the same old, same old. It was crazy. He was a guy on edge. It was fun. Cena was Cena, but that's okay. He gets laid out and fucked up. That's good too. Fuck it. It's all gravy to me. Edge doesn't get hurt. Edge serves his purpose. And the Authority is back. I thought it was a little strange that Lesnar and Heyman come out and they shake hands with Rollins. So maybe there's something. If at best it was just Brock Lesnar being out there to close a show, or at worst, at best, he's part of the Authority, making it even bigger Authority angle. I mean, this could be some cool stuff happening right now. Just him being out there with the Authority. Thank God that Triple H and Stephanie were there to come back. What a coincidence. I mean, they get reinstated and they're backstage. Holy crap. It's amazing. Like I said, I don't mind them being back on TV. I like Stephanie. I really like Triple H. I think that they bring a lot of good stuff to the show. And I feel that the build towards Mania with the Sting angle, and I think Vince is going to get involved here for a battle of power, because we're going to have one of those, "It was me, Triple H. I sent Sting." We know that's coming, and that's going to be fun. It's going to be something different. Well, not different, but it's going to be interesting. Sometimes interesting is not a terrible thing. And what it's going to do is give another high-profile match for Mania. It's going to make Royal Rumble more exciting. There's a lot of good stuff that came out of this Raw. A lot of good things to build off of. Was it spectacular? No. Was it one of the greatest Raws of all time? No, of course not. But it was solid. It was well booked. It was well paced, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I was very entertained for those 3 hours, which is something I have not been able to say in a long time. And people can say, "Oh, they did it because it was the last show of the year," or "They did it because they didn't have any competition on Monday Night Raw or with Monday Night Football." Well, motherfuckers are not going to have competition with Monday Night Football until August, so shut the fuck up and enjoy the better shows. They're just going to go back to shit. No, they're not. No, they're that because we're on the road to WrestleMania. It's the build to the big stuff. This is the season that you want to be a part of. So quit fucking bitching about the past. Quit fucking, look at the last 6 months. Shut the fuck up. Enjoy what we're about to get. This is some good stuff. They did things differently. They allowed wrestlers to bare parts of their souls, which they don't normally do. Let's be happy with what we saw. It was a good Raw. It wasn't a great Raw. It was a 7. It was a 7.5, which is pretty fucking good. I'll take it every week. Give me this. Give me well thought out, built Raws every single week. You want to lay off the shit? I'm more than happy to watch this for 3 hours every Monday night. Give me this. I'll fucking take it. Okay? And if you can't find a way to enjoy what you saw, it's time to stop watching wrestling. It's time to stop because there's nothing left for you. Because what you're looking for doesn't exist anymore. Get the fuck over it. The Attitude Era is over. It's done. It's dead. It's buried. It's disco. It's Elvis. It's gone. So it's okay. Fucking find some stuff to enjoy now. Because there's some stuff there. There are some very good young wrestlers. More on the way. There are plenty of things to be excited about. Other than that, shut the fuck up. Enjoy your life. Enjoy wrestling. There's a lot of great stuff coming this week. So make sure you got your eyeballs peeled for that. We are on the road to 500 subs, ladies and gentlemen. And it's all because of you. So we still have a long way to go, of course. But when we do get there, I will be doing my big giveaway of my unboxings. Speaking of the unboxings, I should be getting a new arcade block any day now, and I'm hoping it's going to be good because it's the December one, and Nerd Block got a great thing in there, so I'm hoping I get some cool stuff in mine. That'll be fun. We got a great Creators Corner this week that I recorded yesterday with Jake Link, great comedian from Shot from the Point. He's hilarious. I laughed so fucking hard there in this interview. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Things get a little crazy towards the end. Some words are said that probably shouldn't have been, but that's okay. It was a lot of fun. So make sure you're checking out everything that this channel has to offer. And not only that, but make sure you're checking out guys like Dave Rose, who has a show every Friday night, I believe, The Dark Show, which is basically a kind of a monetize this type of show, a shock jockish type of show where it's basically talk, and they do some good stuff over there. It is Google Hangouts, but hey, you'll endure for some good talk radio. There's nothing wrong with that. Joe Cronin, of course, make sure you're checking out all his things. He's put out his own schedule now to combat my schedule, so we're battling schedules. But you know what? It's good because I think Joe Cronin and I are both pushing each other to put out more content and have more fun and do more things. We're feeding off of each other, and I like to think that I'm helping him because I know that he's helping me. I mean, the guy has been fucking everything for me on this channel, and I appreciate everything. So schedule it up, Joe. I love it. Tommy C, Shot from the Point. This Thursday, right after the Winter Classic, I don't have the exact time for you, there will be a live broadcast of Shot from the Point, which the entire Shot from the Point crew, including me, will be there talking about the Blackhawks and Capitals Winter Classic. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. Other than that, I think this is wrapped up very nicely. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter at DeadOnDaveV. Make sure you check me out on Facebook. It's facebook.com/thisguystakeonit. Sorry, it's my old one. I can't change the URL. Deal with it. Other than that, you guys are beautiful. I'm beautiful. We're all beautiful. Get ready for New Year's. Get ready to get drunk, motherfuckers. And I am out of here. See you tomorrow on your Daily Focus. I'm going to sleep. Oi.